Welcome to Sex is Not For Sissies Radio. I'm your host, Valda Ford, and today I get to be the host and the guest. I had the opportunity recently to talk about how little changes can make a big difference. And today I want to share that presentation with you. The presentation was called A Change Is Gonna Come. And I started off singing a little bit of Sam Cooke's immortal song by the same name, where it basically says, I was born by the river in a little tent, and just like the river, I've been running ever since. It's going to take a long time coming, but I know a change is going to come. So let me ask you, what have you been running from in your life? What changes do you need to make in order to have the best life possible? There are many things we could talk about, but I'm going to talk about three things. First of all, if I ask you the question and showed you a picture with 32 million representing something that's going on in the United States, I wonder how many of you would know what that number represented. Well, 32 million is the number of people in the United States who have diabetes. I imagine that some of you either have diabetes or know someone who has diabetes. It's a very troubling disorder, and there are several kinds of diabetes. We're going to concentrate on one. The diabetes diagnosis happens when we do not have insulin working correctly in our bodies. In type 1, the pancreas doesn't create insulin. Some of you know it as juvenile diabetes, but now we call it type 1. The pancreas doesn't create insulin. In type 2, there may be insulin that is being made. However, the body either isn't using it well or at all. Sometimes people with type 2 may have to take insulin injections. People with type 1 have to absolutely take insulin injections. So now that you know a little bit about diabetes, let's talk about the fact that not only are there 32 million people in the United States with diabetes, there are also 84 million people in the U.S. with pre-diabetes. That means that you don't yet have the devastating disease, but you're on the way. Now, more disturbingly, 90% of that 84 million people do not know that this is the opportunity for them to avoid having diabetes. Throughout the world, there are 422 million cases of diabetes, and of all those cases, at least 25% don't even know that they have it. Now, we talk about insulin, and people think they know a little bit about insulin, but insulin is a hormone made in the pancreas that serves as a key to allow the nutrients in our body to be used in the cells. So imagine if you're looking at the bloodstream, there are red cells, white cells, all sorts of blood cells in there. There's also sugar there, blood glucose. That's what we check when we go for a finger stick or for hemoglobin A1C, which I'll talk about more. When you have insulin that's not working or not working correctly, then that key does not open up the cell. The cell stores that sugar for energy. That is why sometimes people learn that they have diabetes because they've been complaining to their healthcare providers that they feel tired all the time. So if you think about a storage cell, a big battery that's becoming empty or no longer has a charge, that's what's going on when you have type 2 diabetes. Now, when you look at blood sugar, think about the fact that your bloodstream goes through approximately 60,000 miles. Any blood cell has to travel, or blood travels 60,000 miles throughout your intricate network of blood vessels.